Hey folks, it's Chunt, and if you're like me, you may have recently purchased Grandia HD, and we're excited to dive into the game only to find that their smoothing of sprites isn't exactly the most appealing visual style. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to be done there. I've read of some people extracting sprites from the original and replacing them in the game's files, but that seems like too much of a gray area having to track down a ROM and fiddle with the files. Within the game, there aren't a lot of options to modify the look of it. And by that, I mean there's almost none. There's nothing here, really. You can change the resolution, and you can change the anti-aliasing, and that's about it. But fear not, for those of us who just want to spice things up a little bit, we still have options. Enter Reshade. You may have heard of it or seen it in action before, and I will show you just how easy it is to set up. Today, we'll be sprucing up Grandia HD to look a bit more like Octopath Traveler. That fancy tilt shift and HDR coloring to give it a little more shine. I know that style might not be for everyone, it does often look a little overproduced, but going through this video will teach you how to use the tools to your liking, and you don't have to end up with exactly what I'm doing. Step 1 is to install the game. Step 2 is to download Reshade from reshade.me. Step 3, open up the Reshade installer. Click here to select a game and manage its Reshade installation. You'll notice the installer slowly populates with installed applications from your computer. Find Grandia HD, use selected application, then click on Direct3D 10, 11, 12. Just gotta kind of mash it there for some reason. Select effects packages to install. Now these don't mean that they are enabled, it just gives you the ability to use them. Sometimes when you're new at this stuff, I recommend doing overkill, selecting as many as possible so you can try them out. You certainly aren't going to use all of these, but they're kind of fun to play around with. Once you're done selecting, press OK. And you're done. You're installed. You'll notice that Reshade has successfully installed when you boot the game and see Reshade at the top of the window. To access Reshade settings, press the home button on your keyboard. On your first run of the program, you may get a tutorial pop-up that will guide you through using it. For this video, we are skipping that, but I do recommend you revisit it at some point. To achieve the Octopath Traveler look, we're going to want to enable a couple of different shaders in here. The first one is going to be the vignette. This one is pretty simple, just enable it. The second shader we're going to use is the tilt shift. This one is a little more complicated. As you can see, this gives us the nice blur effect around the outside of the screen. This default setting, however, is a little bit much. To make this a little more playable, we're going to want to adjust the blur curve down here. Let's raise that up till it gets to a point where you like it. Just about there, just so it blurs a bit of the edge of the screen. And the final shader we're going to use is the Magic HDR. This will give it that nice HDR contrast. And that's about it. You can press the home key, and congratulations, you have a slightly more aesthetically pleasing game. And just once more, while we're still here, I encourage everyone to go through all of their individual settings and adjust them to their liking. Some of this is a bit much for some people, but overall I feel it makes the experience a little bit better compared to how it used to be. Grandia HD is a fantastic game. I recommend checking it out. And also just know that this tutorial can work with many different video games. It's a great way to just spice things up a little bit. Thank you all for watching. Bye.